It's movie night with Bill and Will.
Hello? Yes?
Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 5. We're on 5 already. All right.
I can't believe it.
If you remember last week, it was Lil's pick. So Lil, what are we watching tonight?
Oh, our movie tonight is Starry Eyes. I love this one so much. The main actress killed it, in my opinion. It follows Sarah, an ambitious and talented young woman that has some unique tendencies when she's not happy with herself. But this story begs the question, how far are you willing to go for your dreams? Well, Sarah finds out it can be a very deadly endeavor to follow such dreams. How far is she willing to go? Well, let's just say the devil's in the details. Find out what happens to her tonight on this episode of Movie Night with Bill and Lil. Hi guys, gals, non-binary pals!
There it is. I was waiting for
Yes, it is. You know I can't not.
When are you going to make merch? Because that's definitely like your first shirt.
Girl, I haven't even been able to live stream yet, and as soon as I can live stream, maybe I can sell some merch. No, seriously though, it sucks that you have to get to 1K before you can live stream. But at the same time, I get it. At the same time, because everybody would be live streaming if that wasn't the case, I suppose. But
Yeah. Honestly, when I first messaged you, and like this is not podcast related, so if you want to fast forward a minute, like seriously, I thought you were at 1K, and the original plan was to live stream as we're doing something like this, so people can feel like they participated in the live stream. But honestly,
yes.
I'm kind of happy that that wasn't the case, because how messy would it be looking at your phone, answering that, going back to this? So I'm having fun with this, and who knows, maybe sometime we can do a double stream where I can stream on OBS straight to YouTube, and like we can do questions on YouTube there.
Oh, yes. Audience interaction all the way. I want it all. Heck yeah. Let's go.
All right, Starry Eyes. You know what? Since this
Yes.
is your movie, I'll let you bring up the first topic. What do you want to talk about?
All right, let's start with how did you feel about this film in general? Because I know how I feel about this film. I've watched it at least 50 times. I own this film. I love this film. I know that you may have had some mixed feelings about the film. Let's start with our main character, Sarah. What did you think about our main character, Sarah, and her ambitions in this film?
I like Sarah in other movies. This Sarah is half the time.
Yes, Alex Esso is the actress's name. Alex is the actress's name.
She was in the Shining sequel. She was in Pope's Exorcist. Was she in a movie we already watched?
She was not in a movie we already watched. She's made a name for herself in the horror community, and even in some bit parts here or there, she has a recognizable face in our
Honestly,
community.
she's starting to feel like a Mia Goth to me the more I look into her work, and it's like, oh, she's always been there.
Yes, but she's so underrated. Like, she gets in these low-budget horror films and shines, you know? But nobody, like, grabs her and puts her to the mainstream, kind of like with Mia Goth and Jenna Ortega, when I'm comparing her to them because I feel like she has the capabilities of going there. I don't know if you disagree, but I think she is one of the shining aspects of this film, and why it works so well is because they picked her of all people, which they found her through just online submission auditions, if you did not know.
That's really good. She did knock it out of the park. The thing is like, there's so many people in this movie hamming it up. Like, at some points in time, it feels like a great art housey film, and then the other half feels like a schlucky B-rated film. Like, it's mixing... I shit you not, like an Ari Aster movie mixed with a Scott Pilgrim-ish type movie, because the Friends feel like a Scott Pilgrim vibe, but like you know, if you guys watch the movie, there's a bitchy girl, there's like a ditzy
Aaron, don't get
blonde.
me started with Aaron. Oh
Uh,
my god, this
the
woman.
thing was, is I
Mm-mm.
laughed and she laughed at the girl falling on her face. Like I laughed at that because it didn't look real, and then she started laughing, and Tracy was like, "Oh, you bitch!" You know, I kind of felt like
I
she said it to
know.
me too. I'm like, "No, your friends are stupid." What they were doing, like they weren't even jumping in the pool; they were doing jumps in front of the pool.
Yep.
Of course, you're gonna like it's stupid things that you teach toddlers, and they never learn. So
I'm sorry. I think that Biatch got what she deserved. Those two girls, Erin and the little blonde that fell on her face. I don't remember her name exactly, but yeah, they are the two
okay,
that I feel
the
that got what.
blonde that you don't remember, I think she like overdid it with her. I understand doing that
Yes,
to Aaron,
yes.
but she was just the idiot friend, and like
Like the
yeah.
ditzy one. She was kind of like going along with it. She was kind of like the innocent party. Which, yeah, I'm gonna touch on like the
So
deaths
yeah,
in this movie a little bit
let's
because I feel like some are like I'm like yeah that's worth it, and the others were like well damn I'm kind of sad that they died. You
well
know.
let's start at the
Um.
beginning real quick. Like
Yes.
she's working
Yes.
at Taters. If you guys don't know, it's like the Hooters equivalent. And
Mm-hmm.
she gets excited for this call. She's excited to go in, and the way that they have these interview processes, I think, are kind of like that. If not, the
Oh.
other movies that I have seen with interview processes like that is like Boogie Nights and Bucky Larson, which is both way different than anything I've ever seen. Like when it comes to this, and I can see
Yeah.
movies. Fun fact: this movie came out in 2014. I believe 3 or 4 years prior, before the Harvey Weinstein actually took off, which
Mm-hmm.
made the
This touches a
movie.
lot on that stuff.
Well, yeah, it feels like these people went through this process. They actually had
Mm-hmm.
it firsthand, and then they didn't want to actually call out Hollywood in sake of like losing out on extra roles. So instead, they go
Right.
and make this movie, and then call them out in a roundabout way, and it's just so weird how intense this
Yes.
was. And I was like, this has to be before that all went down, because there's no way they're making a movie like that. Miramax would probably go after them quickly.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely one of those that touches on sensitive topics for those that are sensitive about like certain topics. This is not the perfect film for, but I feel like it's in a way to where in this whole process of the film, though it may seem unwilling at times, I think the reason it goes the way it does is because she is so willing to go with the process that's happening. You know, the reason why I think she gets picked for this is because are we good to move into that first audition scene?
Yeah,
Because
go
I
ahead.
kind of want to talk about that first audition scene. Um, So it's fun facts about those, or well, save that for the next audition scene. But this one, it's just basically it was inspired by actual auditions that the filmmakers had gone through, just casting for previous films that never took off. And they said it was one of the most depressing things to see people coming from their day jobs, like one in this film, and tearing their souls out for these people for 10-15 minutes and then saying okay thank you we'll call you later and then never seen from these people again. So it was a very big aspect for them to shine on this to where the audition process is very awkward and very unforgiving in the sense to where you don't you put your soul out there and you don't know that you're guaranteed a callback, you know. And yeah, it's one of those things where especially when it comes to like the flashing her second audition, that was actually inspired by an actual audition somebody had. The creators got this told to them by an actress. Let me look my notes right here.
4 to 6 days later.
I have the name of the actor down.
3 days later.
So yeah.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
They where is it? I can't find it. I had it marked. Oh, here we go. Sarah's second audition, which she strips naked in front of the spotlight, was inspired by a story somebody told both the creators about doing an audition for David Lynch.
Oh.
So
Okay.
David Lynch audition is what inspired that second audition scene with the flashing, which you can pick up a lot of things if you freeze frame that scene. In her second audition, you can pick up a lot of things that just slip past your eye. There's some monstrous and like really creative things in those freeze frames. But yes, did you want to talk about her first audition or her second audition, kind of like more of the beginning aspect of things?
No, the only thing is I read a fact that her parents were on set for the hair pulling scene. So that was a very intense scene, and I really liked the way that the producers or the casting crew, like, they don't have a emotion to them. Especially on phone calls or anything like that. It was like monotone robots.
Yes. Yes, they very were that way. And I think it's kind of the filmmakers' viewpoint of how the industry was in their eyes, and how they felt, how they've seen the industry itself. And it's very based on their personal experiences. And you know, I think it works for the film in the sense of where it's coming from. I'm not going to get into who's behind this as of yet. I don't want to spoil anything as of yet in the conversation, but it's one of those things where it's a prelude to, you know, nothing that she goes into is something that a traditional actress would be okay with in any sense, in most cases. Like the first audition, okay, we'll call you back. Okay, that's normal. A dickhead behind the desk. That's fine. But after the whole fit where she's ripping her hair out and the other casting director's right there and she's like, oh, maybe we haven't seen anything or everything. And she goes back into the room and they make her have the fit, which was inspired by the fit that the actress had in Possession, the film Possession from the 1980s, which is having a resurgence right now. She watched that scene with that actress over and over again for that Possession scene in the initial audition, and I think she killed it. And it was one of those scenes where if you look at it, you know, you can either look at it as she was just having an hysterical fit, or it was the start of a process of something that she just proved herself by literally ripping her hair out in front of these people. And that was the sign of to whatever entity this is to be like, okay, let's start this process because I think she's worthy.
So I feel like Hollywood is the extremes, you know? Like if you took the time, like your families are like hundreds, if not thousands of miles away. You moved out here and all you're doing is being like a Hooters girl. You could have done that back at home, and that's frustrating. And you're going to audition after audition after audition, and you're not landing anything. And you knew you just blew this interview. I can't imagine anything but to just pull your hair out. I mean, that was very vulgar and grotesque. But the thing is when you're so frustrated at yourself and you're mad at the world, who can you take it out on? It's definitely going to be yourself.
And especially the people she had around. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to hop into the second audition real quick.
Oh, go ahead. Go right ahead.
I felt like it was a mix of TV and movies, and I couldn't help but to chuckle because body imperfections are a huge thing when it comes to Hollywood, and you could get cast over, like, you can miss your role over something like over nothing. Other people will see it as flawless, but for some reason that dimple's just out of place and Hollywood will skip you. It reminded me of Friends when Joey has to get his wiener is like circumcised. So
I knew you were going to talk about the baloney.
So he put a baloney over it and it just falls off during the audition.
The scene,
But every time they took a picture, I heard the meow from like Texas Chainsaw. Like it just keeps going off. I'm like, man, how funny would it be if one scene you see Chop Top doing his thing and then like it goes back to her and like it's just a weird vibe. So for me,
Yes.
the auditions didn't really. That wasn't the entertaining parts for me. It
Right,
was
right.
everything else because the characters that are so bad that it's good is making my day. And my big points are going to be like Carl from Taters.
What are you doing standing there staring at me? I told you to go defrost those chicken strips like an hour ago. They're like a block of ice. Jesus Christ.
Yes. Oh my God.
He's like, his speech of like, I see hundreds of you coming in and out all the time thinking that you're going to be the next Marilyn Monroe and you guys are just nobodies. And he's basically like, you quit out of nowhere and now you're here asking for your job back. And he's like, look, we like, do you think his dream was actually to be a Hooters manager for the rest of his life? No, he accepted the fate of life. He swallowed the blue pill and said, "You know what?
Yes.
This is what I'm stuck with." And the thing is he gets these girls coming in and out. He just wants like, "Hey, I scheduled this time. Be dedicated to that time. Don't get on your phone. Don't like." It's understanding. It's frustrating as a manager. And then like she comes back and begs for her job, and it's like that little speech of Carl saying, I'm pathetic, I'm nothing, I gave up my job, and I just want your damn time when you're here. Try not to be focused on anything else. Like, man, I feel so sorry for Carl. And he had some of the funniest scenes, like David, like that weird fryer dude just watching. He's like, I told you to thaw out the chicken strips. Like, it was
He's like, where's she hiding that thing, beating her cell phone? I was like, dude, clearly you're not experienced, or you know you can hide it in your bra. That's why you're running a Hooters, because you can't get any booty.
But the thing is the final scene with Carl. I'm gonna just skip to that because you only get 3 scenes with Carl, and he's the star of the show. Damn it! Like, I'm just kidding.
You would think that, Billy. You would think that.
I need a Tater spinoff, kind of like Waiting, but for Carl. Carl deserves more. But
bullshit, Carl deserves exactly what he got.
Well, no, he didn't. She's over here drooling into the food and like looking like a drug addict, and he's like, okay, just go home, you can have your day off. He's being nice, and he's like, give me the food, and she's like, nah, and then she slaps my boy Carl, and he's like, bitch, get the fuck out, or I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you. Like, no, Carl, it's completely understandable. She put your hands on you first. It like just like,
no. I mean, she could put his hand in the fryer. I mean, it could have been worse.
She did. She had no reason to come back to work. In fact, if I was Carl, I would have like, you know what? This chick's kind of batshit crazy. She's giving me like, I'm gonna burn your head off. Just let me back into this place. No, I would have hired a different woman. I'd be like, no,
yeah. I mean, with the rehiring process alone, with how enthused she was, you would think you would be like, yeah, this is probably going to go to another person.
Low-key, I would, businesses like that, you would want to hire, I would call them Eeyores. Do you know what Eeyores is?
I get the concept of what you're saying.
They're struggling with their personal image, like they don't think they can make it, but they want to try, but they won't. That's how you know they're going to be stuck at that job forever, because they don't have the self-confidence to go and do things. So they're like at work, here I am again, working. And the thing is like, no, you don't have an upbeat staff mate, but hey, you know she's going to show up on time. Like, Yes, sounds awful, but the thing is, I'm hoping for the best for Carl. I'm Team Carl all the way, and honestly, that's where that's where the loyalties lie.
You're gonna get some feminines, feminines in here that are not gonna like you for that opinion, because he was a douchebag at part.
Well, the thing is like, you know why he's a douchebag, right? He's playing into the bit as a manager. Like, honestly, I don't know anybody that dreams of like, one day I'm gonna be a Hooters manager.
Exactly. That's the thing too. You know, he is in a sense a funny, lovable character, but at the same time, it's like he kind of deserved the slap in my opinion. opinion, but I respect that he's your favorite
Well,
character. Okay,
it's a gimmick.
as long as you don't say it's freaking Aaron, I don't care who your favorite character
Well,
is. To be honest.
it's kind of like working at we used to have a Joe's Crab Shack, and sometimes they like dress up as things, or Fogo de
Yes.
Chao. If you have a Fogo de Chao over there, they dress up as like I call them Brazilian pirates. I like that is a terrible term, but they have these pirate boots. Just look it up. It's just like I always go, "Arr," and people are like, "No, you're so stupid." It's like it's the theme of the like wherever they're from.
Yeah.
Like no, it's definitely pirates. If I only work there, I want the pirate boots. That's what I want. But the thing is, this is a gimmick. Like
Yes.
you're telling me
Yes.
like, hi. I'm Bill or Bailey, and I'm going to work at Hooters, but I'm gonna redefine what it means to wear these clothes. Like, no, you're going into a gimmick, and you can definitely work as a waitress somewhere else and be better respected.
This is true.
So,
This is true.
ladies, respect yourself first, and great things will go your way. If you want to get out of life what you put into it, then please go and work at a Hooters. I don't care.
110%. I mean,
while we're on the topic of being like women and all that, do you know the Marilyn Manson fact?
I do.
You know what's funny? As soon as they popped up on screen, I'm like, oh, okay, like this is bringing me back to my Friday the 13th vibes. Like, this wasn't the best movie, but hey, at least they had some boobies. And then like Marilyn Manson, I read that fact after the movie was done. I'm like, oh, geez, Marilyn. I know you're going through some stuff right now, but I feel like this is the first time I can agree with you.
Hey. I mean, at least she has a beautiful body to look at. But yeah, it's definitely one where it's a film that's not 100% not for everybody. I find it's 100% realistic. If this was a situation that happened in our life, in real world, I feel like there is many people that would take this path willingly.
Would you?
Would I?
Would you?
110%. 110%. Are you playing? Oh, 110%. I am a Care Bear by any means. By any means. But also, don't fucking excuse me. Let me rephrase this. Don't get in my way.
So would you hold on, would you like deny the part first, like deny the whole scene and then leave and come back, or would you just straight up not?
You're throwing me under the bus here, Bill. Because honestly, I don't feel like the whole process, other than the end process, is really that big a deal. Personally,
I'm talking about the end process. Would you go through it all just to have all that you want?
Yes. I mean, I'm not going to get too overly morbid with this, but for somebody that suffers from chronic pain and has felt like they haven't been dying for 2 years in a row, I feel like I've been through it already, and I can do it again just for what I want.
So the thing is I'm Team Brandon Fraser. Like, I'm not about that life, and nor would I think I would be. I do play these games at work. Like, hey, how much money would it take for you to like do this or do that?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is okay by any means. I don't think anybody should have to degrade themselves to get their dreams
my
attained.
thing is
I'm just saying that like
money wise, first thing I need to see is like I need it on the table. I don't need a speech or anything like that. Second thing is as soon as I see all the pentagrams and all that, I'm like, hold on, there's a catch-22. What's going on here? And then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, you're selling your soul to the devil and da da da. I'm like, oh okay, no, that's where I'm out.
Because fun fact, it's not the devil, Billy.
Oh, the thing is you're like wherever you're selling your soul, it's definitely not. It's not heavenly. And the thing is I could be a shit shoveler for the rest of my life, and if it guarantees me a spot in like heaven, like I'd much rather live an eternity in like glory. If you believe in that stuff, I know I'm not gonna religious people. But the thing is my ideals my ideals is I'm going here, and if like trust me, I'm trying so hard to be a part of movies, and
I hear you.
The thing is
and
that's the only line I can't cross. The only cross I can't bear is to give up that cross, you know.
Well, I get that. I get that 100%. I'm just talking about in the standpoint, if I was her in her position, I would have done the same thing personally. But in real life standpoint, I'm not going to advocate for people doing that because there's better ways of attaining your dreams, you know? I mean, look at us. We're just having a beautiful conversation about a movie that I really like and that you get to watch for the first time and I get to scar you with.
Well, I'm gonna pull up the name real quick. Is it Danny, the director from?
I have the whole cast. Oh yes, Danny, the guy you're talking about that lives in the van.
Yeah, the thing is I felt like Danny was sweet to a sense, but the thing is Sarah doesn't love herself enough to be open with her friend group. And Tracy was a cool, caring roommate. And in my opinion, Sarah first half was all right. I don't know if it was the interview process that kind of like fucked her up, but her friends were all around cool to her. The only one that was kind of bitchy and mean is Aaron. But for me is, okay, look at this. She has her mind set on playing a role for her friend that she doesn't even know is going to take off, compared to Sarah, who has this big Hollywood audition and is going through the hoops, and she's getting pissy, she's getting jealous, like Sarah walking out in the red dress, and she's like, aren't you a little overdressed? Like, you can tell.
Aaron.
Aaron.
Yes.
She's the worst.
Yes.
But my thing is Danny did not deserve it. I feel like my heart goes out to him. And the thing is, even when he opened up the
beautiful dreamer, he was our beautiful dreamer.
Even when Sandy or Sarah opened up the car door, or not, she didn't even open it. She just, I don't remember how they saw Aaron was there. But the thing is Danny lives in his van. It's like, I feel bad for Danny, and Sarah's been blowing him off, and everybody probably knows that she went off to that director and did the thing, and it's like Danny was opening his heart out, was willing to work with her, and no, he basically got a slap to the face. Aaron was the backup, the rebound, whatever you want to call her, and he did what he had to do to survive.
I honestly, until you said that, I never really correlated the fact that he was sleeping with Aaron that night because he found out that she hooked up with the producer. That correlates more because the scene prior to this, when they're having a conversation outside of his van, it's like kind of like they're finally connecting. She's pushing aside the production company, you know, like there's a little bit of hope for her in the middle there with that conversation. And then, you know, go ahead.
I felt like he was broken. The quote was, when you went away that night, nobody could find you. We were worried. And so, like,
yes.
He knows that she went away. Nobody knew where she went, and now she's coming back and is looking like the Fly. Like there's something going on. There's something otherworldly here, and it's just rough.
Yes. And see, the thing is with Danny, I think out of the whole friend group, he truly cared about her most. Other than Tracy, those two were the main.
Was a real
Tracy was a good one. Tracy was a good one. But I think those two were her rocks. The other ones could have been hit or miss a little bit. He definitely, I think it really was a choice that she had to really go with the more rough and rocky road and go with her friends and try to build herself up, or take this opportunity that seems a little bit easier and bigger and a jump start. And
easier,
she
bigger,
chooses
and jump start, all those puns all in one thing. You're really gonna just keep walking?
Hey, I'm just going. I'm just saying. It's just one of those things where it's really trying. I think after that initial audition, the process had started after that audition, personally, in my opinion. And I think it was her battling whether she wanted to do this, do that. And I think the friendship aspect, especially with Aaron, like her constantly putting her down in like slight little like snarky comments, really kind of pushed her even further to where she's decided, like, this is what I'm doing. I don't need these people in my life, you know.
I feel like we
Yeah.
are coming to the best part of the movie. Like I said,
Oh, the
aud-
climax is
yeah,
the best.
the auditions were like a miss for me. The friends were a hit. For you, it's probably the opposite. The auditions were a hit, and the friends group was kind of like a divot. But
Yep.
we can both agree that she. This is where it's gonna
The
get heavy
third,
spoilers.
heavy spoilers. Third half of this film is where all the goodies happen for the most part when it comes to gore.
And-
And there's some decent shots.
I had to pause it like right before it all started. I'm like, oh my god, it's almost over. Okay, like I don't
yeah.
like when Rob said, if you watch the last episode, Rob was like, oh my god, you guys are doing Starry Eyes. Like I was comparing it to Martyrs off the top of my head, which is not the right movie to go with because Martyrs is probably one of the most extreme movies I've ever seen in my life. And
Yes.
I was kind of hoping something like that.
Yes. But I mean, it has a serious tone like Martyrs does, and kind of, but it's not as dark and poetic, I guess. This is a little bit more straightforward with its reasoning and like where it's going in a sense, I suppose. Martyrs is one we're gonna have to definitely do because it's in my top 10, and there's a lot to talk about with that one.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hop into it. Like the way she treated Aaron, I felt like she was going light. And the thing is the first time she slashed her felt like an accident. And then the thing is if I didn't have my CC on, I probably wouldn't have heard the whispers. So the whispers kind of gave away with the subtitles, and then I was actually listening in, and I was like, oh my god, there's a lot more going on than just her going through the decaying and all that. So Aaron,
there's a whole transformation going on, and it's crazy. And the more she does for this transition, the more it transitions her. Speaking on that first slice, if you don't like Aaron, like I didn't like Aaron, I don't know if anybody can relate with this. I said as soon as she got cut in the face, I said, "Bitch, you ain't acting ever again."
But the thing is
no, but
I thought she started getting off easy, and then what's the roommate's name? Gronk. What's his name?
Yes, Grinko. It's actually Gene Simmons' son. He's played by Nick Simmons.
That's pretty cool. That's dope.
Yeah.
He walked up and he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And then he goes to the bathroom, and then she takes his weight and then starts wailing on the blonde chick.
Yes.
My thing is, I liked how he was standing in the doorway the whole time, and then he's like, as soon as she stopped, he's like, "Okay, now it's time to run," and he slips. Like,
right.
That was hilarious to me. Like, it felt like a Tom and Jerry type, like, of kill.
Can we go to that head smash in the bed of the blondie real quick? Because with that hand weight, because it's literally, she takes a hand weight, it looks like about at least a 10-pounder, and she just goes at this girl's head. And you see her legs like going up and down as she's beating her head into mush. And, I found it really effective for the budget they had. I found it a very gory, very effective scene because they had her actual legs twitching with it and everything. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. I laughed when he slipped on the blood. I was like, well, there we go. Typical horror movie. Here we go.
This is how you know Aaron's not a good actor, because if all you hear and see all this stuff going down, you're not gonna run. She already thinks she got you. You're just acting like you're dead. I doubt she's double tapping or anything like that. So
I agree.
But I agree, and she gets up in a panic, starts running. It's like, no, you're gonna get double tapped now, and
see, I love that. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie, because after she dies the first time, I was like, well, she kind of got off easy. And then when it goes to the second part of her death, when she grabs her with this plastic bag over her head, I was like, yep, this works. I can take this kill. The bitch gets what she deserves. But then again, I will say for Erin, though, that she is a bitch and she's always doing snarky comments. But as soon as she finds out that Sarah is actually hurt physically, she's like, oh, we got to get you to the hospital. So I don't traditionally think Erin's really a bad person. I just think she is very headstrong on where she wants to go, and she's not going to let anybody get in front of her. See, I think that's where me and Sarah differ when it comes to how we would go with the process, because the only thing that I would falter with this process is having to sacrifice certain people in my life, because I don't feel like sacrificing other people is worth my own goals. You know, they're sacrificing yourself, and then they're sacrificing other people. In this, she has to sacrifice everything she loves, quote unquote. If you're not watching this, I'm quotation marks with my fingers, to ascend to where she needs to be, and or hates. In the case of Erin, you know, she has to wipe everything, her slate clean.
It breaks my heart though. Like, two of the people definitely did not deserve it. Tracy and
No.
I forget.
Going
the
into
name,
our man Danny is the next one.
So let's
Our
talk
man
about
Danny.
Danny. He opens up the
Our
car
beautiful
door,
dreamer.
and she's just sitting there, all
In
pouty
there.
and
Oh,
sad.
I like that shot. I really do like that shot when he opens the door and she's right there.
Me, if
I
I saw
enjoy that
somebody
shot.
sitting there with a hood up, it doesn't matter if it's Sarah or not. I open the door up, I'm like, oh, this isn't the bathroom, and then I shut the door.
I do the same thing. Nope. I would say, nope.
Yeah,
Click,
because
lock.
the thing is, she looks creepy as hell. Like, okay, I get it. That's your friend. You want to
Yeah.
help her, but the thing is, like, you know what? I'll send you a text. A get well soon text. Like, I hope everything's
Right.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
She just looks creepy. It's like 3 a.m. No, thank you. Like,
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. That him and Tracy go, especially Tracy. Because if we're gonna, did you want to talk more about his death before we move on to something else?
we kind of touched upon
because
it.
but I did want to say with Erin's death when she goes back for the second time, I will say I love this movie. I suggest it to anybody if they have not seen it. But I will say with Erin's death when she puts the bag over the head, just a little comment for filmmakers. When you put a bag over somebody's head in a death scene, make sure the top of the bag doesn't still have air in it, or it looks like it doesn't still have air in it, because it kind of ruined it a little bit for me with the top of the bag kind of still poking up with air, which at the end of the day, it's just me being over-examining
For me,
it.
like, it's not the go-to move to, like, struggle around. She didn't have her hands tied or anything.
Mm-hmm.
You would go with your fingernails into the mouth and rip it open. It's
See,
like
that they showed her to trying to do
But
that,
the-
but she failed at
okay,
it.
I was like, it's just a Ziploc baggie. It's not like
Yes.
one of those big
Well,
bullock
see-
bags, you know.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think what got her was not the bag; it was her drowning on her own blood. Was essentially what got her, because there was still air in the bag, and she was literally trying to rip it open. So I'm assuming she drowned
she
on
deserved
her
it.
own blood. But yeah, she kind of deserved it. Or kind of, she
Anything
deserved
you
it.
want to say about Danny before we go to Tracy?
I really enjoyed him. I don't think he was a bad guy at the end of the day. He definitely did not deserve the death that he got, or death at all. But our beautiful dreamer, rest in peace. On to the ascension process, and then you want to go to the ascension process and then go to Tracy, or
Sure,
do you want to
let's
go to
do
Tracy
that.
and then the ascension? Okay, so in your opinion, what deity was behind all of this?
I wasn't paying attention. If anything, it's just corporate Hollywood, and that's the D&D behind
Okay,
it.
corporate Hollywood was the deity behind this. Okay, so if you pay attention throughout the whole film, including the beginning credits, the star is a hint. If you know about Greek mythology, you probably guessed this while watching the film. But the name of the production company and the name of the motion picture company is the same name of a Greek god of stars, and also known as the Greek god of wind. I am not going to butcher his name by pronouncing it, because I am not going to do that to myself.
Go ahead, try.
But it is
Try.
the... Oh, boy. Okay, fine. Fine. I will look through my notes for it. I was trying to be time sensitive, Billy, but fine.
Time sensitive. That we're not on the Scream episode.
1 hour later.
Where are you? This is where you edit or put in a 5 minutes later.
5 minutes later.
You know you're going
I'm
to.
probably going to.
You such a troll, but I appreciate it because I cannot find this for the life of me.
Much, much, much later.
Ooh,
Do-wop, nap, nap,
I'm so
do-wop,
sorry.
nap.
I literally, I'm seeing everything except for that one. Where is it? Look, I'm literally sweating because I can't find this back. Thank God you can edit. I am so sorry, Billy.
Who said I can edit?
Where in the heck is his name? It's right in front of my face, obviously, but I can't find it.
Astrius.
It's Astrius. The production company's name is Astrius. It is the Greek god Astrius. He is also he's known as the god of stars. He's also been related to the winds, but that is the entity behind this endeavor in this film. As you can see hinted towards the star emblems that kind of look like pentagrams. The star that's on the ground as she's ascending, you know. Fun fact, one of the people that is the cult members, like the older cult members, was a second assistant director of The Exorcist. So he was one in there, so that's pretty funny. But yeah, as she's ascending, do you have any comments on that scene of how that went down or how it looked or anything like that, or just
Congratulations for somebody going full out like that. Like, you rarely do you see nudity used in such a way that this one kind of felt artistic.
it did. It was grotesquely beautiful.
The other thing I would say is way to go for making a movie about how far women would go for roles and how they shouldn't go that far just to have that leading lady naked all the way at the end. It's like, I feels like you're eating a shit cake and then they put frosting on that. Like, think of how many women that went through Hollywood and then like they went and done shit like that just to be a part of a movie, to be naked in that. Like, it's just the irony's hot, and it's just like, ooh, like like it feels like poor taste, but at the same time you can't. It's like a car crash. You see it on the side of the road, but you can't look away because of how terrible. Yet it's there. For me, the eyes were great. The Tracy scene was great, and then the way they leave off was like, okay, you can finish the story with your head. The imagination's there, and I prefer that because my favorite shows, my favorite movies, when a franchise or a TV series ends, is always disheartening and not the way I wanted it. I can name like, I was about to say Supernatural, but honestly the worst for me was How I Met Your Mother. This movie kind of leaves it up in the air, and I enjoy that. And also
I do too.
I'm being too harsh with the nude scene, but the thing is like I said, the Harvey Weinstein was 4 years later after this movie, and I bet you some women went and looked at Starry Eyes thinking, okay, that maybe this is a movie about the experience of Hollywood, but no, it like takes a weird Satanist turn just so you can see a naked woman for 10 minutes. And I don't know how people thought about it. I know how Marilyn Manson feels about it, and I know how I feel about it. So I guess to each their own. But yeah, Sarah did great. I felt like when she did the transformation, she was a totally different person. And my feelings towards Tracy is she did not deserve anything Sarah was dealing. The money scene in general, that was a rough watch. Tracy just cares, and you can tell like it bothers her, but she wasn't gonna bring it up. And
see, I love how we're on episode 4, and I'm getting like the basis of like how these shows are gonna go. You're gonna be the angel on everybody's shoulder, and I'm gonna be the demon on everybody's shoulder.
I wonder why that's the case. The thing is like I'm trying to like of course I love boobies. Of course I like
no.
There's so many bad things. But the thing is like there's tasteful, distasteful, and like, oh man, guys, my movie's so bad. What can I do to cure the movie? And You won't.
Right.
This is a fun fact for a different day, but I'm gonna just tell you now. Usually,
Okay.
porn directors and writers and all that, if they want to make a break in Hollywood, the first place they go to was Friday the 13th movies, and they carry
Okay.
some of that over. So they're like, "Oh yeah, we have a bad movie, but we know this will make up for it." And
Yes.
movies do that still, just not as much as they did back then. And this movie, like, I felt like it was going to do it earlier, especially with the friend group scenes, the pool scenes. I'm like, no, the way they did this was more of a, I would say, a A24 film in a way. So
See, that's why I love it so much. It's very art house-ish esque,
But-
and I think that's why I really love it.
There's just a hint
I
of
think it's
irony.
Mike. There's a lot of irony, but I feel like it's art house with a micro budget, or not micro budget, because this was partially funded by Kickstarter. If you did not know,
And so
Yeah.
so was this
Um,
movie.
yeah.
Right there, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Everybody check the movie behind him out. But yes. Yeah, I think Tracy did not deserve it at the end of the day. How do you feel about the way Tracy went? And do you feel
I
like
felt
Tracy
like-
was a necessary kill to get her ascension complete?
I felt like Tracy was an unnecessary kill, and honestly, the way Tracy went out kind of bummed me out. I was expecting a little more. Instead, I got like, I think I know where
Lots
this.
of blood and not too much wound.
Well, the thing is like, I'm getting Jennifer Bodies vibes, and it's like,
Okay.
for me, it's like, what is this for? Who is this for? And why are we doing it this way? And
I understand
I think
that
I prefer-
because there were
I think I preferred a more, like, you went over the top with the other ones, and it's just, let's make this the icing on top of the cake. If you're gonna do body horror, like, make this kind of gross and disgusting, and go for it. I honestly enjoyed the nail falling off scene in the bathroom. Like, they can do effects really well. To
Yes.
the last kill being that effect, it leaves some for desire, you know.
I gotcha. I understand that. I agree with that. I'm glad that they put a lot of blood into it. But yeah, I didn't get the relevance of the kiss because there wasn't like hinted anything like loving like back and forth between them. So the kiss was kind of like out of place for me. But I mean, it worked. I mean, it was effective. But yeah, I think they could have went with that kill a little bit better.
That should have been Danny's kill, if I'm being all honest.
That would have been a really good one for Danny. That would have been a really good one for Danny. They could have switched them, honestly. Like, she could have had her in the bed and just stabbed her in the heart or something. Or like thinking of the sense of now that she's alien-esque, maybe her tongue could have went down her throat, kind of like Bordello of Blood, and ripped out the heart or something like that, you know. But it's micro or small budget, so I'm not going to expect
Did you?
that.
So I know it's kind of small budget, but they were gonna do the bugs in the bathtub, or
Oh, I'm
they
so
were gonna
glad you
do that
mentioned
as
that.
CGI, but the actress was willing to do real bugs, so they're like, all
She
right.
put a ton of bugs in her mouth and acted like she threw them up. That last bug she takes out of her mouth, the reason it looks so real is because it's real.
real.
That is commitment, man. Like, I'm telling you, Alex Esso, if you have never seen any of her films, check out her filmograph, or however you want to say it, and look at her films, because she has some really decent ones out there, and her performances are like uncanny, man. One more thing, as she sits down after that kill of Tracy to the mirror, if you listen, you'll hear a sound of a handcuff click, and that's your sign to know that she has been locked into her ascension.
Ooh.
So, as much as I thought Tracy's kill was unnecessary this whole time, up until looking into this episode, I find that Tracy's kill was necessary because they did put the subtle hint of the handcuff lock in the sound as she sits to look at herself for the final shot of the film after killing Tracy. So I think it was one of those things where it kind of threw me off because she kind of already went through the ascension, so she didn't really have to kill Tracy, it looked
That's
like.
what I was
But
thinking too.
you know, but I think they kind of like I think it could be written in a little bit a better way, in the sense where, because I get how they like the subtle handcuff click can make like, okay, she's locking into the ascension after killing her, but that's very subtle. And I've seen this movie at least 20 times probably. I own it, I love it. But I've never heard that handcuff click until I read this fact and went back and listened for it. So, I mean, it's definitely something. I love how it ended. I love the kills in this film. I think the performance in the main actress alone makes this film worth it if you're a person that's ever been interested in acting or having an acting career, like I'm sure Billy has, and I'm sure I know I have. But yeah, it's a very interesting film to watch if you're into the film industry and you've ever wanted to get into it and you know about it, and this is like the dark side of the industry. But yes, I think that's really I have a couple more facts, but nothing too crazy.
Go ahead. We're pretty much at the end of the movie, so anything you want to spout out, your favorite part, like.
Okay. I think one fun thing to mention is the shot that was seen in the train station. They had no permit for that.
I remember reading
No
that.
permit for that. That one was fun. Yeah, I brought up Kickstarter and everything, but there is one thing. There is one thing, as you like to do to me, Billy. I have a game for you.
Okay,
I have a
go
game
for
for you
it.
since we're at the end. I have a game for you, Billy, since you like to do this to me. Okay, so my game to you, Billy, is how many months, days, weeks, years was this film shot in?
I think I read it was like a short amount of time, like 18 days.
You mofo. How do you... You literally get it. First guess. You literally get it first guess. This is not fair.
I knew I could have been wrong because it
This
was
is
like
not
like it
fair.
could have been 28. I was like, it was
This
a
is not
ridiculously
fair.
low number. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
shoot my shot at
18
18.
days. They all did it in 18 days. Can you imagine that?
No,
That's some
quick.
commitment right
That's
there.
real quick.
Especially for getting away with some of the kills that they did. Yeah, it's definitely they got denied shooting permission to a bar because the script was too evil, which is another fun fact. Oh, excuse me.
Now, this movie could have been way more evil. In fact, I thought it was gonna go down that route more than it did. But no, it was more subtle. And honestly,
Yes.
I feel more evil from the people at corporate Hollywood than I did like Satan himself. Because
Yes.
honestly, so have you seen cursed movies like the Amazon or Shudder original series with Eli Roth?
Yep.
I think it was the Omen episode. Like, do you really think Satan has time to like deal with movies and like stuff like that? There's just so many other particular things going on in life that like movies are just, if anything, movies is a gateway to like doing what he wants to do, which is
Yes.
like the same can be said like, so The Exorcist, like Christians can say, oh, it's a gateway to Satan. If anything, the priest or the heroes. So the vibe that this movie put out didn't give anything like that. If anything, it was, what would it take for you to get to where you want to be? Would you cross this threshold? And if so, like, what would it look like? And I felt like this was a decent ride. The B movie parts, my boy Carl, like, it was a fun time with them, and I enjoyed it.
Yes.
I'm still waiting
Yes.
for Starry Eyes 2, Carl's Reckoning, and hopefully that would be a fun watch.
No, though. I would love a sequel to this. That's never gonna happen. But I like how you mentioned earlier. It's an ambiguous ending in a sense to where like it doesn't like show like everything. It kind of leaves it open to your imagination to an extent. But yeah, it's from start to finish, this one really hooked me the first time I saw it. I look at your local drugstores around Halloween because I found my copy for $4.99 at Rite Aid of all places.
Jeez.
So if you're curious about this one, or you really like this film and you can't find a physical copy that's in your price range, look at those budget horror movies during Halloween time, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, our guys, gals, non-binary pals. There's some good finds in those budget or horror movie little boxes in those drugstores.
So we do poll questions at the end of every episode. I
Yes.
feel like whose death is most deserved is way too easy. I think you can agree.
Mm-hmm.
So how about
I was
we
like,
do?
darn, we're gonna agree, and he's gonna change it up, and that's what he's doing.
I'm doing, and I'm only doing it if you agree, because I can probably argue a couple others. It's just no, Aaron.
No, that's fine.
Aaron deserves it significantly.
Aaron definitely deserves it.
And I think
yes.
this is the poll question that I was going to ask is, who was the best secondary killer, or secondary, not killer, who was the best secondary person? Who was
To die.
Besides Sarah, who was best amongst the cast? So Tracy, Danny, and I would say Carl are like the top three. And honestly, I have a feeling you're a Carl person, and I'm the Carl person. You're the Danny person, and we can duke it out like that. If not, we can go back to kills, because
I don't think Danny should die at all, though. So I can't fight that with you because I agree with you that Danny shouldn't have died. I think that I
oh, it's just who's the best secondary killer, or
who's the best?
best secondary?
Okay, who's best?
Secondary,
Okay.
like a live person, like not a live.
Okay.
The best who carried the show if Sarah wasn't there? That's what I'm trying to say.
Are you trying to confuse me more, Billy?
I know,
Because
I
that's
know.
what you're
I
doing.
know.
Would you like to clarify the
know.
question one more time for my Dory brain?
All right, welcome back to Jeopardy. The question is, who was the best secondary actor or actress in this film?
This is going to be a fun one for you to edit, my friend, because we've had some fun moments. Yeah, I think honestly, I don't know. You know what? No, I think the second person that deserved to die most was the guy that died in the hallway. Because when she was all messed up in that one scene in like that skate park setting, she was like picking her shirt up and all like she was kind of out of it. But he was taking pictures of her, like when she was like picking her shirt up and crap. I was like, that's nasty, dude. You're
Okay.
freaking foul.
Yeah,
So I believe
So we're
I
doing
think Jinko
secondary
is his
deaths.
name.
We're doing secondary. Deaths.
Secondary. That's what I thought you asked of
No,
me,
we're
Billy.
doing secondary deaths. You pick that one. Sweet.
What did you say to me, Billy?
Now, I was going to debate whether who was a better actor or actress, the Carl character or the Danny character.
Oh, well, that went right over my head.
No, that's fine. But no, you think, what's his name, Grinko?
Yes, Ginkgo.
Ginkgo?
Ginko.
And you picked him over the blonde?
I did because, as you brought up earlier, that she was kind of like airheaded, like kind of just went along with Aaron because it was kind of like Aaron's process through her bubble-headed mind. So I mean, as much as I love her kill, and I'm glad they had her kill because it's my favorite kill other than Aaron's kill. I think that Ginkgo deserved it more just for that scene alone, for him taking pictures of her.
I'm happy you picked that.
Okay.
I'm not even... So I was going to do a roundabout technicality because Sarah technically died before she ascended, and she like re-risen. So that's all I was going to do.
Smart little
No,
someone.
I don't need to do that because like I had the big debate over Sarah because she was a bitch. She deserved it. The way she treated my boy Carl at the restaurant, like I hated it. But no, you picked Ginkgo as the secondary kill. Fine. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the blonde. Because even...
Okay, I have her name. So let me. I have the cast list. What is her name? I believe her name is Emma Julia. Is who we're referencing. Her name is Jacobs. Yeah, I believe that's her. So yeah.
You got the Mean Girls cast. I'm gonna go ahead and go first because I'm ready. I'm heated. Let's go.
Wait. Okay. Okay. So we're doing.
Yeah, we got Aaron as the like main bitch, but you got the
Yes.
dipsy dumb blonde who Like,
Yes.
I call her switch sides, and because like
Okay.
when she came out as the red dress, she gave her a compliment. But as soon as Aaron got catty, she kind of got catty too. And as everybody was calling Aaron a bitch, like she didn't stake up for Sarah, and Sarah's just wanting to be liked, be a part of fame, be like the only person that really cared for Sarah was Danny and Tracy, and she didn't feel like she's a part of that friend group. And it's because that Dipsy Blonde and Aaron just pushed her out. And
Yep.
when that dumb bitch smacked and hit her nose, I thought that was great. And I'm like, there's
I
no
thought it
way,
was great.
there's no way we'll get better than this. But no, she has the
Tracy
best.
got so
she-
pissed at Sarah for laughing, and I'm like, girl, calm down. That little biatch deserved it, and you know it.
But she has the best death in the movie, ladies and gentlemen.
She has the best.
That's all I have
Oh.
to say. Thank you for agreeing with me. She agreed. The best
Yes.
death in the movie, even
Yes.
better than Gringo. Who, like, seriously? Hey, Billy, edit the where you're slipping in the cartoons and he's falling on his face. Do that. I win. Ding, ding, ding. Do you even want to do yours? All right, tune in next week. I'm just kidding. We still have a game after this.
You always win, so there's really no point, honestly. I mean,
We should be getting poll results back from the first episode, and honestly, I think what I'm
Yay,
gonna
me.
what I'm gonna do is people are gonna blindly pick Alex. Let's be honest. And what we're gonna do,
not necessarily. Yeah.
we're gonna do an episode where instead of doing final deaths and all that, maybe we do like a ghost episode. Nobody dies, like a Conjuring episode. We gather up everything that we already did, chart it up as like a Final Four or March Madness tournament, and we go through of like who deserves to die or who deserved, like when we start picking out characters and see who would actually like win overall.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
But-
I love me some good games.
Go ahead. Why did Grinko deserve to die? Oh yeah, you already said took pictures.
Yeah, yeah.
Was there anything else?
No, other than that, like, he didn't seem like that bad a person until he did that, and then I was like, dude, you gotta go. Like, yeah, you gotta go.
All right.
But yes, with Starry Eyes, it is not for everybody, but for the ones that is for, you will love and adore every second of this, I do believe. I know, Billy, what are your final thoughts on this film before I give mine?
3 out of 5. I wish it played more into the B movie aspect than the art house, but when it finally did do something good at the art house, it was the last 7 minutes. It left you with a good taste in your mouth, but yeah, my boy Carl deserves better. Go ahead.
Alrighty. Yes, my girl Sarah, I love her. Thriving in your career, girl. No, I'm just playing. But I think it was I think people that are interested in the film industry are gonna enjoy this one. I think people that like gore will enjoy this one, though it's not gory throughout. The gore is at the end, the climax of this film. This is a very very attention-based film in the sense that, as Billy said, it's very art house. It's very A24-esque, and I think that's why I love it so much. I've said it a couple times. It's worth it for the main actress's performance alone. I think some of the shots, like the shots with the boobies, as Billy mentioned at the end of the film when she's ascending, the way they did it, and with the blood and like the clear plastic, it's so gorgeously disturbing to me. They tried so hard to make really nice shots in this film, and I appreciate them for that. You don't find that a lot in low budget. Where they try to get a really good shot in a lot of low budgets. And I appreciate them for that. And yeah, definitely, thank you for allowing me to choose this one, Billy. I knew this one was going to be a little bit mixed review from you because it's not for everybody, but for the ones that are for, it really hits hard. And I'm glad you really did appreciate a lot of aspects of this film like I do. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, please check out Starry Eyes. It's very easily accessible. It is on Tubi for free if you would like to check it out. Billy, anything else?
Yeah, we have a game, and I'll give you the option. Do you want to guess the topic? Because I know you'll never get it. Or I can tell you the topic from get-go.
guess the topic just because you doubt me.
So, okay. This is going to be the blind game that we play. The past few episodes, we're getting comfortable with that. I have 5 movies picked out.
You're getting comfortable with that. I keep getting thrown under the bus with that, okay?
5 movies are picked out from this list. And this list is somebody's list. It's not mine. But let's just say it's Blank's faves. So
I swear to God,
He's
if I know
famous.
who's behind this,
he's famous. It's not like in our friend group. So let's go ahead.
I was about to call Rob out real quick.
First one I'm going to ask is The Witch.
1 through 5.
1 through 5.
By putting it here, this does not mean I don't like this film, because I do like this film, but that's going on 5.
Whoa.
Yes, I do love that film. It's just
Okay, 5 up front, and like, so what if I throw in?
I know.
Like, there's so many
I
worse films.
I have a feeling I know where this list is going, so I was comfortable with putting that at 5.
Strangers.
The Strangers with
Liv
Strangers.
Tyler.
Yes.
Yep.
That was, I used to watch that all the time. I love that movie. So that's going to 2.
Good one. Good one. Crimson Peak.
Oh, I wish I left 5 open. 4. I love the style of that film, but the overall film itself was not my favorite.
For me, it was the ending. Like, I loved the gothic horror. I love the actors and actresses of the film. I love the CGI, the blood red snow, but the twist ending at the end just didn't make it for me. But
I gotcha.
I'm not ranking. The next one. So, Strangers, Crimson Peak, The Witch. We got Deep Blue Sea.
Tell me next. I want to put that 1 so bad, because you don't understand how much I love that film growing up. I saw that in the movie theaters, Billy. Crap.
And you have 3 open. It's 1 or 3.
1 or 3?
Yep.
Okay, it's going to 1. 'Cause Deep Blue Sea is literally, I think I'm going to say this confidently. That is my favorite shark film ever made.
You're going to get murdered. Like, looking at this list, like, I can see people flipping your list right now. So
I'm so mad I put The Witch at 5, because I thought we were going somewhere else with this, and we weren't going the way I thought we were going. So what's my number 1?
well, no, that you said that was number 1.
Oh, that was number 1. Okay, yeah. What's my number 3?
Number 3 is Blair Witch Project.
Oh, fudge nutter. Okay, I give up.
Well, what
I'm
would
never
you
gonna win with
actually
these.
rank them.
Okay, if I had a choice without blindly ranking them,
Yeah.
Okay, give me all the titles one more time so I can.
Deep Blue Sea, Strangers,
Deep
Blair
Strangers,
Witch, Crimson,
Blair Witch,
and The Witch.
Crimson, and The Witch. Okay, Crimson is 5. The Witch is 4. The Strangers is 3. Blair Witch is 2, and Deep Blue Sea is 1.
Okay. Do you know whose favorites these are? And this guy very rarely goes on Twitter and praises films, but here's a hint. The last film he actually praised was The Evil Dead Rise. And he did get The Evil Dead to its footing.
Oh no! Don't you? I'm not gonna say that, because there's no way in hell.
What were you going to say?
It's not Sam Raimi, is it?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think. Oh, that was a stretch. I don't know.
So nobody wanted to fund Evil Dead 2, not even the production company that made it. So
Oh! Are you talking about Bruce Campbell?
no.
No. Damn.
So they tried their hardest to lobby, and somebody gave Evil Dead 1 a raving review. In fact, hook him up with this production company. I think it was called Rose. So this is where the facts are getting muddled, but the guy who helped Sam Raimi out was Stephen King. So these are Stephen King's, well, what he would tweet about and like enjoyed watching.
Okay.
This isn't like an official ranked list
Okay.
of like, so Final
Okay.
Destination was also on it.
Yeah.
And there's only one movie of his that he truly praised. Can you guess what that is?
Burnt Offerings.
The Mist.
The Mist. Okay.
He said, "I wish
I
I,
know
would
he's a
have
fan
thought
of
of that
Burnt.
ending. That ending left me in like shambles."
I...
I know you would have guessed it. Last week was.
My whole family was bawling. I was laughing as hard as possible.
I know it's a like funny scene.
It's like the scene in Hereditary with the decapitation. I just started busting out laughing. I was just like, I can't right now.
Do you read books?
I read some. It has to be interesting for me to get into it, but I do have a fair share of books.
So The Mist, the way that ended is they left in their car, and that the group of people go into this hotel. The mist is still active, and it kind of leaves it ambiguous. To where they,
that's very Stephen King.
to where this movie, like, I thought it was amazing, where he's on his knees ready to get taken.
I think that movie's great.
I think it's so
great.
good.
I think it's the perfect ending for that film. I think nobody else would have really went there, and nobody else really does go there. You know, I think it's an ending that you don't see every day in a genre where we see the same ending over and over again.
I completely
You
agree.
know, it's so refreshing, and it's so messed up, and it's so effective. And, you know, if my sister was bawling, I was laughing my ass off at my sister bawling.
Yeah.
You know, but it was just so good. It was so good. And just the look on that kid's face, knowing what's about to come, and it's just like, and gone.
So that was it. This is the end of the show. Episode 4.
Alrighty. Bye, guys, gals, non-binary pals.
did-
Thank you for joining us.
We didn't announce next week's episode.
We didn't
We
because
didn't.
Billy,
You're
what are we
skipping me.
doing next week?
You're skipping me.
No,
You know it's
I
my
am not
week, and you're like,
No. Okay, I have viewers and listeners. Okay, I offered Billy this next choice. Billy was supposed to have episode 2, and Billy is supposed to have episode
4. It's every other.
4. Yes, every other. But he has graciously allowed me to pick episode 4, which I said we can film his episode and put it in front of
fine.
this one.
I honestly, I'm getting more away from my favorites. My favorites, I think, has been covered to death by every single movie website. The only thing that I would touch base on is movies that I haven't seen yet. And what's big and popular right now, Meat Canyon covered it in his last video. I'm a big Meat Canyon guy. If you remember episode 2,
Yeah.
shout out to
Oh
that.
my god, he's amazing. I don't know how he sits behind his computer and animates some of the stuff or makes some of the stuff he does for hours on end, but he is amazing. Thank you again for your submission. That was freaking amazing.
He made Tom and Don watch Event Horizon. So we're going to watch Event Horizon next week because I haven't seen it.
Excited.
Has a lot of my favorite actors in it. And
How have you not seen this, Billy?
I
This is like a classic.
I love Aliens and Alien and even Alien Resurrection. I love all the Alien movies. I was told that Event Horizon was just a ripoff, and it's definitely skippable. But me and my palette of terrible movies mixed with Hellraiser love, and I was told, "Hey, Billy, this might be your film. I'm sorry that I lied to you." And then I'm gonna watch it next week. So
I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it because I thoroughly enjoy it, though I do miss some of the cut bits that were never given back to us, but we'll get more into that in the episode.
you're just setting yourself up for jokes. Do you,
No,
You're
no,
missing
you want to know
cut
what's
bits.
setting me up for jokes is the freaking edit I made you do in the middle of this episode where I was like, for 10 minutes looking for a
I'm
fact
just
that I had
gonna
in front
keep
of my
it
face.
in, and then I'll just put it in here.
Please, man. Please no. 10 minutes of this podcast, just mute silence of me looking at a paper, trying to find a fact in front of my face.
Well, this was another fun episode, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait to see you
It
guys next
was.
week.
Yes.
Take it easy.
It's been a blast. Bye, guys, gals, non-binary pals. Thank you for joining us. And thank you again, Billy, for giving me this opportunity to pick this episode.